In this video, I'm going to reveal the number one trait men are attracted to in women. And I'm not just talking about any type of guy, I'm talking about the type of guy you want to spend the rest of your life with. Someone who's emotionally open, someone who's intelligent, someone who's conscious, someone who makes things happen, someone who is confident, someone who is kind. There's a type of experience that type of man is seeking, and when you're able to share that with them, there's no arm twisting, no ultimatums needed. He willingly, with a lot of inspiration, wants to step up and say, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. That is my bold promise to you. By the end of this video, not in theory, in very practical ways, you'll know exactly what you have to do in order to have that experience be your experience. And the best way for me to do this, instead of ad-libbing this whole thing, I took a lot of time to think about this and wrote something powerful that I'm going to read to you right now. So forgive me for reading, but I want to make sure that per unit of time, you have a lot of insights that will help you understand this. So take notes. Please stick with me until the end, because every step of the way, I'm going to be revealing things to create the type of experience with them where he sees you head and shoulders above any other woman he's ever connected with. There are too many things men and women get wrong about each other, what really turns each other on, what we crave emotionally, and contrary to popular belief, the pervasive myth that men are not deeply feeling beings. But I found that when it comes to the vulnerable experience of attracting a life partner, things tend to get even more confusing. For example, in the brutally challenging dance of dating, there's another misconception that hurts women and puts them in unnecessarily vulnerable situations. The notion that men seek sex above all other things, that the way to a man's heart is through his genitals, and that if you want a guy to choose you and pursue you, you'll need to be willing to put out before you're ready. But having had the blessing of helping so many women around the world find the love of their lives, and being a man who has both loved and lost deeply for 50 years, I can attest that this experience is not accurate and that it doesn't have to be this way. I'm not implying that sexual compatibility doesn't matter in our long-term relationship, because it does. It definitely does. But there's something more profound than sex that creates a devotional bond with a conscious man in a way that truly stands the test of time. It combines the opposing poles of desire and safety in a way that good men can feel in their bones and overwhelmingly choose to step up for. It also helps him place the woman who is sharing this frame in an elevated and unique category of her own. So if you're single and unwilling to settle, if you have a high standard for intimacy but have felt the pull to give in before you're ready in order to prevent a guy from maybe losing interest and leaving, and especially if you already know that by being physically intimate early on, you risk becoming deeply attached to someone who is not good for you, or worse, is really bad for you, I want to share a stance to create a much more visceral and profound connection with the right partner that goes well beyond sex. It can inspire the right man to move from casually thinking about you to feeling willing to commit without ultimatums or arm twisting, from half-assing his way through dating to going all in with consistency and decisiveness, and from pushing for sex without offering a safety container to ensuring that exclusivity and emotional connection are set in place first. But before I go on, I want to first honor the reality that you've experienced with men and acknowledge that this next part may sound very different from what you've already gone through. Maybe you've met many men who have not been attuned to your heart. Guys who seem only interested in sleeping with you or having a good time. Maybe even the occasional man who ghosts you right after being intimate when you feel a stronger degree of attachment. I wish I could tell you that this stance I'm about to share with you will work with all men, but that would be a lie. Because by definition, most men will not be ready for the depth of intimacy you seek. If you were my sister, I'd sit down over a cup of coffee and tell you that above all other traits, you need to seek a conscious man. Let me repeat that. Above all other traits, you need to seek a conscious man. A man who embodies, among other virtues, these 7 crucial ones. Number 1, self-awareness. This means he knows himself, his strengths, his wounds, where he shuts down and why. He can see his own patterns and take responsibility for his impact without making excuses. Obviously, none of this is black and white. There's a nuanced area, but that's the gist of what you're looking for. Number 2, integrity. His actions, words, and intentions match even when no one is watching. Number 3, purpose. He has direction in his life beyond the relationship. He's building something, moving towards something, grounded in work or a mission that matters to him beyond himself. He doesn't need you to complete him. He invites you into a life he's already creating. Number 4 is emotional openness. He lets you into his inner world with honesty and humility, sharing what's real instead of hiding behind silence or bravado. Number 5 is presence. You can feel that he's actually with you, not half listening, checking his phone while his mind is somewhere else. Number 6 is accountability. He can acknowledge when he's hurt you or messed up without making excuses or turning it back on you. He stays in the conversation even when it's uncomfortable. And number 7, kindness. In how he treats you, speaks to you, creates safety for you. Without this, nothing else matters. These are the top 7 qualities I challenge you to optimize for. Not height, not charisma, not muscle strength, not financial wealth, and definitely not good looks. Not saying those things are not important, but once you connect with a conscious man, what will inspire devotion and bonding well beyond sex is what I call devotional discernment. It's your ability to see and relate to the man he is at his core, his integrity, his heart, his depth, while also holding a standard of respect for yourself that naturally inspires him to show up as that man consistently. The devotional part means you see him, you see the real him, his character and heart underneath any unconscious performance, and the armor that he's been taught makes him a man. You recognize his worth, not his potential as a project to fix, but his actual worth as he is right now. The discernment part means you know yourself well enough to say what you need to say and what you won't accept. You refuse to settle for anything less than his truth, not because you want to control or change him, but because you care enough to be honest. You're not trying to fix him. You just see his best self clearly, believe it's real, and tell him the truth about it. When he's not showing up, you don't go silent or pull away or play games or be passive aggressive. You speak out with kindness and firmness, never to shame him, but because you care enough to be honest. I'm going to share some examples with you right now. But before I share the examples, if you're a single woman watching this, I'd be willing to bet you're not aware of the root cause why you're still single. And what I've done is I've taken 14 years of helping women in every walk of life, every kind of challenge you can imagine, to meet the love of their lives. And I've created a quiz you can take in about 60 seconds that will reveal to you the number one reason you're still single, the true root cause. If you want to participate, all you have to do is go to the first link in the description. You'll see a page that looks like this. You can answer a few simple questions, and within 60 seconds, you'll get 2 things. The answer to the elusive question why you're still single, meaning your number one attraction blind spot, and you'll also get a report with your specific situation. What's the number one thing you can do today based on your blind spot to attract the guy you want in a fraction of the time. So for example, when this guy's performing, you notice him performing instead of being real, you can say something like, hey, I feel there's something you're not saying. I'd rather hear what's real in your heart than what you think I want to hear. When he's pulling away emotionally, you would say, hey, I miss you. Not physically, I miss feeling connected to you. Can we talk about what's shifting in you? When he doesn't follow through with his word, you can say, when you say you'll call, and then I don't hear from you, it hurts. I know that's not who you are. I know that's not who I've seen you be before. Will you please share what's going on? When he's hiding behind some level of charm or deflection, you can say, I love when you make me laugh. And right now, I really need to understand where you are emotionally at. Will you please let me in? When the sexual pace is moving faster than the emotional intimacy, you can say something along the lines of, hey, I can feel you want to be physical with me. And although I find you really attractive, and that would feel good in my body, I'm not ready yet. I need to know you're emotionally available first and that we're exclusive before I can go there. That's what feels right for me right now. When the exclusivity and commitment piece is unclear, you can say something along the lines of, I need to know if you're actually available for something real and committed, or if I'm feeling in the time while you figure it out. I care so much about you, and I also love myself, and I know that being an option is something I cannot do. There's something about hearing these words with fierce love from someone who genuinely sees his worth, not his potential as a project, but his actual worth, that makes him want to rise to it. When you love him like this, seeing him clearly, speaking honestly, something shifts in him. He stops trying to perform and half showing up because you've given him something rare. A woman who sees his worth and won't accept less than his full truth. Most guys are not ready for this level of intimacy and will walk away. But the conscious guy you're looking for recognizes what you're offering and moves toward it because he actually wants to be held accountable to his greatness, not for you, but for himself. Devotional discernment creates a bond that makes everything else feel shallow by comparison. Let me repeat that. Devotional discernment creates a bond that makes everything else feel shallow by comparison. This is what inspires a man to move heaven and earth to keep you, not your body or how quickly you give in, but your ability to see him clearly and refuse to settle for anything less than the man he's capable of being. When you finally experience a man showing up like this, consistently, devotedly, without you having to beg or lower your standards or giving sexually before you're ready, you'll realize you were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong men. That is it. And let me give you a word of caution right now. The type of guy you're looking for, the type of guy that I'm talking about right now, that rare guy, which is not the average one you meet, but is definitely out there for someone who shows up this way, is also going to challenge you, my dear. It's also going to ask you to show up in ways that perhaps you may feel uncomfortable. It's also going to call out parts in you that may not have healed as strongly as you think they have and bring them out with kindness. You will see things in the mirror of him that you didn't know about yourself, and you might be challenged to step into or change as well. Because this type of guy will also not stand for anything other than your full truth. Is this comfortable? No. Is this easy? Absolutely not. But this will cause you to evolve in a way that perhaps right now you haven't had the opportunity to, because you haven't had the mirror of the way that you can show up as your incredible best, not for him, but for you. If you find this is meaningful and useful, it means the world to me if you click like and subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it. If you want to continue learning how you can attract the guy you want and the relationship you've been hoping for without the need for gimmicks, manipulation, games, or stupid techniques, make sure to watch the next video right here.